And Power Trip of Wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today is a very special guest. We'll have Jimmy on in a second, but this is the daughter of Jimmy Yang. She's making her return to the two-man Power Trip. She's, of course, Jazzy Yang. Jazzy, welcome back to the two-man Power Trip. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. What's going on in your world? What are you up to?
I've been wrestling around all around the southeast. I did another Mania weekend in LA. I did that, and I've just been training real hard and preparing myself for the next thing, which is the NOAH July 15th at Corgan Hall. So,
That's pretty big time. I guess you probably are the first Gaijin female to be in Pro Wrestling Noah. Is that correct?
yes, I'm pretty sure.
What do you think about that? A lot of pressure added to you with that?
Yeah, but I feel like I always have pressure, so should be good. I like
Have you
pressure, so
have you been studying up?
yeah. I've been doing a lot of watching a bunch of wrestling. I just watched like the Stardom documentary they had on Hulu, so that was pretty cool. I'm trying to learn like their way of wrestling. I've been watching a lot of Zumi or AZM, however I think that's how they say it,
Yep.
and like stuff like that.
What do you think about that style? Do you like that style?
Yeah, I like it. It looks like a lot more competitive, more like a sport, and I played sports all of my life, so I like the competition of it.
It is definitely treated much more like a sport in Japan for sure. Are you going to be okay with that? That if it's a more of a strong style, if you will, a little bit of a stiffer style, snugger.
Yeah, I like it. I love stuff like that. Like I did jujitsu. I've played a bunch of sports my whole life, like basketball, volleyball, softball. So I love all that kind of stuff. So
So it's Noah, July 15th, Corkin Hall. You're with Takase and you're facing me and you. If I'm pronouncing those names, is that accurate? Is that correct?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
How did
Pretty
this
sure.
all
Yeah.
come about? Like, how did you end up getting in pro wrestling Noah?
So during Mania week, like Sonny Ono, he like introduced us to the Noah president or the people, and we just said hi and introduced ourselves, and we didn't really think of anything was going to come from that. But then like a month later, Nozawa, he reached out to my dad and asked if we wanted to come over, and that's how the deal got started.
Is there like any like thought in your head, like, man, I kind of want to be in Japan longer? Or you're gonna have to get there first and see.
Yeah, I want to be in Japan longer. I feel like my whole life revolves around Japan. Like when I was born, I was like 2 weeks early, and my dad was actually in Japan when I was born. And then my debut was in Japan when I was 15, and that's where I like decided I really wanted to be a wrestler and got the wrestling bug. So now, 5 years later, I get to come back and be at Corgan Hall for Noah, and that's pretty cool.
Pretty full circle moment too, if you
Yeah,
think about it. Your first match and then now you're back. Very much a full circle moment for you. Very cool. So you like the Japanese, like the style. You like actually Japan. Like it wouldn't be a culture shock if you were there for a tour or a couple tours.
I mean it would be a culture shock for sure, but I like it out there, so it would be really cool.
Do you actually like when you're there or when you were there? Do you actually go out in the town? And you hang out in Japan?
Yeah, Kaz Hayashi and Ozawa took me and my dad and Shannon out all around, and we went to Mr. Donut. We went to the DDT restaurant and tried like every part of a pig. It was a bunch of chitlins. It was kind of gross, but whatever. We did all that kind of stuff. We went to Hooters and Outback.
Oh, nice. So like all the like American spots, the gaijin
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
Nice, nice. With that though, like these tours usually, right? I mean, it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Usually they do a whole tour. Is that something you prepare for? Something you're ready for? Is that something you want to do?
I would want to do it if I got the opportunity. I want to travel the whole world, so Japan would be pretty cool for me.
Are you in school right now though?
No, I graduated 2 years ago, 2021.
Oh, so you're free if like let's say, hey, Noah, hey, we want to give you a tour. Like you'd be able to do it, no encumbrances.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you mentioned like jujitsu and stuff in your background. Do you still do jujitsu and you still training?
yeah, I'm still training. I was at American Top Team for a while in like Atlanta, and then we moved a little bit, so now I'm at Carlos Machado Jiu Jitsu in Cartersville. So,
Anybody else training with you that we would know of?
no, I don't think so.
No other wrestlers or anything? Because usually,
No,
sometimes you see pictures and like other, like for instance, Killer Cross, he's training with all these other wrestlers and stuff. So you're the
yeah,
only wrestler. Does your dad do it too?
Not my dad. He's been there, done that. But it's where I live in kind of like a small town right now, so it's not many pro wrestlers around here.
That's cool though. Jiu-jitsu is a lot of fun. It's actually a lot more of a thinking, like a more of a mental, really. Obviously, you have to have the physical, the flexibility, and the technique, but it's a lot of mental.
Yeah.
Do you adapt any of the jiu-jitsu to your pro wrestling?
Yes, I try to use it in my chain wrestling a lot, but I feel like it makes a lot of my holds and stuff like that look more legit.
If I said like, "Hey, Jazzy Yang, what's her style?" or like if somebody's watching, have the wrestling match, some guys you could say, "Oh, he's a high flyer, he's this." Like, how would you describe your style?
I want my style to be like all around where I can do like everything, but I also kind of like the more like MMA style, like kind of like Ronda Rousey or Shayna Baszler. I like their style a lot too.
Is that something easily adaptable, you think, to pro wrestling? Because some people could do it really well. Some people, it's like, I don't know if that looks legit.
Sometimes it's just you just have to explain the stuff more to people so they get understand.
When you go to Japan, are you going to be more of like a shoot style? You're going to do like, have you been studying some Japanese, actually, like Misawa Kawada? Have you been studying some all Japan stuff? Are you going to do some, some of that style, if you will, the strong style?
I'm hoping to do a little bit of everything. I'm hoping to do stuff off the top rope, but we'll see.
How come you don't know?
Um, I kind of have a fear of heights, but I
Oh,
think
what's
I'll
that
get
about?
over it. I think I'll get over it in front of that many people.
What's that about? A fear of heights? What the heck is that about?
I don't know. I like roller coasters, but I don't like anything that's not holding me down. Like I hate Ferris wheels. Those are
Oh, too
awful.
too slow. They're way I hate them. Oh my god, too slow. My son wanted to go on one. I was like, hell no. I'm not
Yeah,
standing up there, but
and
we'll
the
go on the
wind.
roller coasters. Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah. Forget about it. And then once they stop at the bottom and people are getting on, you're like waiting up on top. You're like, come
Yeah.
on, move already. Yeah, not fun. So, have you been watching All Japan Pro Wrestling? Have you been studying up?
A little bit. I've been watching more of the girls. Like I've been watching my opponents, like you and Hibiscus me, and then I've been watching the girl I'm wrestling my partner. She Miyuki Takase. That's how you say it. I don't know.
Takase, yeah, yeah.
But she was wrestling in. She's actually been wrestling in America at like the Deadlock Pro Show, which is kind of close. So I was watching a little bit of her film too.
Nice.
So
Awesome nowadays. Like you just say, "Hey, I've never seen this person wrestle." Before you pull it up on the internet or whatever, and you could find
yeah,
them wrestling, and you get accustomed. That's an advantage to you, right?
yeah, it's all on YouTube really, and then like some on the Wrestle Universe. So
When you look at like some of the guys, I know we were joking around with your dad beforehand, saying that like you don't know some of the legends of Japan. Like I was like Kobashi and Misawa Kawadi. You got to study up. You got to know all these people
yeah,
when before you head over there, right?
yeah, yeah. I've been watching. I mean, I've watched Kaz Hayashi and my dad wrestle over there a lot, so I just need to get more into everything else. But now
The
I got the subscription to Wrestle Universe, so now I can watch it all whenever I can.
No excuses. Yeah. The Young Dragons were a great tag team. I don't know if you'll remember them or not, but obviously your dad and Kaz, and then even Jamie Noble, who was with them for a little bit at WCW,
Yeah.
but they were a pretty good tag team. Do you kind of take and learn and study from a lot of your dad's stuff?
Yeah, I take a lot of moves from my dad. The ones I can do. But
Oh, you can't do them all yet. Yeah, he's pretty athletic back in
yeah.
the day. Yeah. When you look at like your training, did he do all the training or most of your training?
Yeah, he did all my training.
What did you think of that experience, like working with him and training with him?
For me it's like training like 25/8, like talking about wrestling, going to the gym, then wrestling practice. So it's kind of like training all day, every day for me.
Was he hard on you?
A little bit.
Too hard?
for, for me, it's like it's my dad, so it's like, come on, dad.
Yeah, ease up a little bit. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be so hard on me. Jeez. What did he kind of train you? Like it was it cardio? Was it the moves or was it everything?
It was really everything. We kind of start basic and working out, training that stuff, and then we move on to like basic chain, shine, everything. We do the basic match, and then we build on top of that. So we have a strong foundation first.
Did he want you to be a wrestler? Or did he not want you to be a wrestler?
I think he just wants me to be happy. So, and he got a lot of cool experiences with wrestling. He got to travel the world and see all 50 states. So I think he wants me to do that too.
Damn cool, especially in wrestling. I mean, you get to go to places other people, would dream of. Like, wow, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm wrestling in Japan, for instance. I mean, it's really, really a cool thing to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
You're a global athlete, if you will, right? You're like
Yeah.
a phenomenon, like a global star for sure. When you look at it, like with your dad training you and stuff, do you think that helped you as far as like the business? Because some people say, "Oh, because maybe nepotism, or maybe I have this name that is harder." Do you think it was easier for you to get in with your dad, or was it hard on you?
I definitely think it's easier because you get a lot more opportunities, but um, you get a lot more opportunities, but you also like get the knowledge that you need for wrestling. So I know a lot more about like the business side and like the stuff that goes into it because of his what he's done like producing and everything. So I get to feed that stuff into my brain where other people they don't have that, so they have to go and find someone to teach them that. So I know I get like a leg up on that. But then there's like pressure that people think you just get handed stuff, but that's always going to be there.
But you're okay with the pressure; it doesn't bother you.
Yeah, I like pressure. I've always been an athlete, so it's makes it more fun.
Because sometimes in wrestling, they won't take like their father's last name. Some of the guys, I mean, most of them do, but some won't because there's extra added pressure added to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I trademarked mine, so it's too late. Just
Oh,
kidding.
yes, yeah. Yeah, too late, yeah. But, sometimes they're like, "Oh, I don't want them to think, like, whatever," or they're gonna think I'm gonna be better than what I am. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people can't handle the pressure of that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people are going to know anyways. And if you put yourself out there, there's always going to be people to judge you. So you're going to get judged either way. So for me.
So, like, what's next on the docket as far as I know, obviously Japan, and that's the big thing, Cork and Hurl on the 15th, but, like, what else? Are you wrestling a lot more often now?
Yeah, I'm wrestling a lot more often now, but like that's like my next big one. So like all my focus has been on that right now. Like I don't really know what's after that. I just want to see. We got to see how this one goes first.
And hopefully they scoop you up, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
So as far as, like, looking in a crystal ball or really looking in the future, where else would you like to work? Where else would you like to wrestle that you haven't wrestled?
I mean, I want to travel the world. I want to go to as many countries as I can. I would like to go to Spain or like Barcelona, every Mexico, everywhere. That'd be. I would. It'd be really cool if I could go to Korea and wrestle. Even like the wrestling scene's not really prominent there that much, so I would hope I could go there and like wrestle there, maybe bring it up more. And ultimate goal would probably be like WWE or something. So,
Is that a thought? Is that on the radar, like NXT and WWE?
yeah, I hope so. I love NXT right now because like I feel like there's so many women on the show. Like that's the one I like the most.
What females do you like when watching, or who do you think is the best over there?
I think Tiffany Stratton's like killing it right now, but I also like Cora Jade, Indy Hartwell, but she just got pulled up. But I like her too. I really all of them are killing it. Roxanne Perez is pretty cool. So,
Yeah, if you
oh
actually
yeah,
look at
Bianca Corelli or Ariana Grace. Hopefully she'll come back soon. She tore her ACL, but she was doing really good.
Santino's daughter,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, which is again, they're not going to give the. I know it's Corelli, it's not Santino Morella. I mean, that's not his real name,
yeah,
but they didn't call her Morella, which is kind of like, wow, that's interesting. They're almost pretending it's not his daughter
yeah,
for whatever weird reason. Like Natty Neidhart for a while was just Natalia instead of Neidhart. Like it's like, come on, it's Jim the Anvil's daughter.
yeah,
They're strange with that. Even I remember Mr. Perfect's son was Michael McGitta, and then Curtis Axel. So it's kind of weird the way they do that. But it does seem like NXT, there's more women on
hmm
like the NXT roster than there is on like Raw or SmackDown. Isn't that weird?
yeah, yeah. I feel like that's like more the market for them there. Like they put those on there.
It feels like every week there's like all these new females tag team divisions. I mean, it just seems like a
Yeah.
lot of females. Is that something like where I know you want to be there, but is that something you're like throwing out there? Are you talking to anybody over there, like trying to get your name out there as far as NXT?
Oh, I'm not really talking to anyone right now, but like that would be a goal.
Think your dad knows anybody over there?
I hope so. I'm just kidding.
He probably does. I can think of a few
Yeah.
people that he knows over there that he's wrestled. Yeah. Um, but when you look at it, it's like, wow, the woman's revolution, if you will, them pushing the woman more. Did that kind of make you want to be like a wrestler? Did that kind of push you into it, or was it more so that your dad was into it?
For me, when I was little, I would always be around like the divas, like Mickey James would watch me in the back, Melina. Like I loved like the show part of it, like with them and their costumes and their entrances and stuff like that. And I always liked the girls growing up. And then once I had the chance to do it in Japan at 15, that's like when it sold me. And then I feel like the women's evolution started coming more and more there. And then I got to do Empower and meet all the girls like from around the country, and that was really cool. So
It's definitely a nice time to break in as far as like women's wrestling because obviously years ago, you mean even way before Mickey James, it wasn't like there was that many spots in the show for the women. Now, even with NXT, it just keeps growing, growing, right? It's like the perfect time to kind of really get into it if you're a woman wrestler.
yeah, I for me, I watch NXT like every Tuesday. Like that's the one show I like to watch every week.
When you look at it and you're looking at like role models, would Mickey James be like the first role model you had as far as women wrestlers?
Yeah, probably.
Did you get to meet her at Empower? You probably did, right?
Yeah, she's the reason I got on Empower. Like she's the one who my dad like tweeted at her, and then she tweeted back and like called us and like said, "Come on over and then we'll talk about it." And she's the one who like booked me for that show.
Oh wow, that's right. I was trying to think of the connection, but if obviously she knows that you knows that, that's pretty awesome. Though you just like the power of social media. Like I'm just going to tweet it out, and then she's like, "Oh, I know Jimmy," and then
Yeah.
she gets to know you. That's pretty awesome. What was that experience like though with Empower and the NWA and Mickey?
It was cool for me. It was like my first time on like a big show on the indies. Like I was 18, like just got out of high school. This is the first thing I'm doing, and then like I'm meeting all of the women on the show, like from everywhere. And normally the locker rooms are never that many women. There's like one or two. So for me, it was cool to see everybody on the show, and I feel like everybody killed it. Like we came in the back, everyone was happy, cheering for everybody. It was a great environment.
What's going on with the Free Babies? So is that team dead and buried, or are they coming back?
Yeah, I think they might be a little bit dead.
It was Haley and Miranda Gordy, right? With you, you guys were the Free
Yeah,
Babies.
we all live so far from each other. So I'm in Georgia. I think Haley's in Kentucky and Miranda's in St. Louis. So like we're all like scattered. So it's kind of hard to do stuff.
Who put that team together originally? Like, how'd you guys get together?
Oh, Mickey James put it together. She was like, "Hey, I think I have this good idea to put all you second generation wrestlers together for this." So
What did you just think of like that whole opportunity? Were you thinking like this is oh man, this is a big break, or were you thinking like oh this is going to be a one time thing? And this is just going to be fun for the night.
I was hoping it would lead to more stuff, and I was hoping there would be more empowers and stuff, but that didn't happen. So, but it was still pretty cool for the one night thing.
Any other opportunity with NWA?
Not really, no.
Any reason for that, or have you reached back out, or what's going on with
um,
that?
I'm not sure. I think I was there because of Mickey. I wasn't really there because of NWA. So
Oh, okay. Obviously, she's with Impact. Any idea if you want to go to Impact or not?
I would like that a lot because Gail Kim's over there. She's my like Korean mom.
Oh, you have a good relationship with Gail.
Yeah, there's only like 5 Koreans in the business, so
Who else? I can't even think of another one.
Mia, Yim,
Oh, yep.
and then me, my dad, Gail, and then my boyfriend. His name's Teriyaki. He's Korean. Korean and black. So there's like 5 or 4.
Teriyaki. That's an interesting name.
Yeah.
Uh, with you, let's say Impact, NWA. What about AEW? Would you ever consider or think about going to AEW?
Yeah, I would. I like their schedule and how they treat their talent. Like they let people do stuff whatever they want, or like do shows on the weekend. And that's really good for like making money and stuff.
With that, right? You would work, I guess, either Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. That's not a bad schedule at all. Or even go to Ring of Honor and work, whenever they have those shows. That's not a bad idea. with AEW, has there been any talk with them?
Not really. No.
You got to get out there. You got to start pounding the
Yeah.
pavement like your dad was doing with Mickey James. You got to get out there and pound the pavement for sure.
Yeah.
I remember reading a while ago that you said you wanted to be the next John Cena. Is that accurate? You want to be the next John Cena?
Yeah, I want his bank account.
But what do you mean by that? The next John Cena?
He has a lot of money, and I want a lot of money too.
But do you mean like crossover star, or do you just mean like popularity wise?
Yeah, I would like to be a crossover star too. I want to live in LA and do like all the LA stuff, be in movies and TV shows too. So, yeah.
Have you done any acting?
No.
There's the problem. You gotta start doing some acting. There you go. Yeah.
I took acting classes in school, but
Oh, okay. That's a step in the right direction. Yeah, because
yeah.
John Cena. They say he went to acting class. He learned other languages. Like he really he did his
Yeah.
homework on a lot of
Yeah.
that stuff.
I can speak Spanish and I know a little ASL and I'm trying to learn Japanese right now.
Well, that
So,
would be good before you head over there, right?
yeah.
Being the next John Cena, though, that's it's a big pressure thing. Pressure
Yeah.
cooker to throw out there. Like, hey, I want to be one of the biggest stars, right? Is that a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
high hopes? Though I like that though. You got to have dreams and aspirations in the business. What would be the ultimate goal in wrestling?
The ultimate goal for me would just be to travel the world and have fun doing it.
Any more teaming with your dad?
Probably whenever they need us out. My dad's my tag team partner. Always. He's getting a little old, so I don't know how much longer he can go, but I can do most of the work. I can do the heavy lifting.
You know what they say though, when the guy gets older, that's when you put the young tag partner. They take all the bumps, and then they get kind of come in for the hot tag.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been taking the bumps right now, before, so now I gotta start taking them.
Nice. Now, before we talk to your dad, before we let you go, got to mention again, of course, Noah, July 15th, Kirk and Hall. You'll be in a tag match, the first female gaijin in Noah history. It's going to be a monumentous occasion there for Japanese wrestling and Japanese women's wrestling, no doubt about it. But where can everybody kind of find you, follow you, social media, otherwise?
So I have a website, jazzyyang.com, and my Instagram's Jazzy Yang, my Twitter and Facebook's Jazzy Wang Yang, and then my TikTok's Yun Yun Sauce 3.
All right, let's talk to Jimmy for just a few minutes here because I know he'll be pro wrestling Noah as well. Jimmy's making his way in.
Yeah, JP, what's up, man?
Yes,
What's up?
the former young dragon himself that we're just talking about. Just great to talk to your daughter, Jazzy, there. Great influence on her. She's so mature, Jimmy. What's going on? You're like the exact opposite. What's up with that?
I know, like, I don't know what happened. So, like, yeah, so she does. She's a lot smarter than me, a lot prettier. Like, has a better head on her. So I don't know, like, yeah. No, just I'm a great dad, so that's what I came off to.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
so,
yes.
yeah.
Former WCW and WWE superstar Akio, Jimmy Wang Yang. I mean, all these great gimmicks. But like we were talking about with Jazzy, Noah, July 15th, Kirk and Hall, you're going to be in a 6-man tag with the legendary Super Crazy and Stallion versus, I believe it is Tadaroka and Anthony Green are going to be, or Yohei Takaroka and Anthony Green are going to be facing you guys in the 6-man tag.
Yeah,
What do you think
fuck
about
Anthony
that?
Green. Fuck
Yeah.
Anthony Green, man. That's just he's just rubbing me the wrong way a little bit, but so but yeah, but it's gonna be awesome to go back to Japan. And then with Jazzy being there, like it's kind of a history moment for that company. Jazzy Yangs will be the first female gaijin on a Noah card ever. So like I don't think I know she likes pressure, and I know you talked about pressure, but she doesn't understand how big a pressure it is. Like, you're gonna be the first female gaijin of all time on a Noah's card, so that's kind of if traditional wrestling companies that women were never allowed on the shows or at the dojo. She's gonna be training at the Noah dojo when we're out there. Performing on the Noah card, it's like kind of crazy spot that she has But it'll be awesome, and I think she's gonna kill it, and it's gonna be great, and we're just excited, can't wait to get over there. So
It's awesome that you can get her that opportunity, right? It's a great spot to be in.
actually, I think she got me the opportunity. So with the Noah
Or
company,
that, yeah, even better, yeah.
Because I know she told you about the WrestleCon when we met the president, and
Yep.
we introduced each other to introduced ourselves to him, and then I just made a joke. I say, "Oh, Noah, you need to start booking women." And he looked at her, and it's like I could see the wheels turning in his head. And then a month later, they reached out, and it's like, "Oh, is Jazzy available?" I say,
Yep.
"Yes, she's available." Then they say, "Oh, well, you think you can come too?" So I think I know what people think. It's like, "Oh, Jimmy, she got the booking because her dad." Really, they wanted her, and then I'm her dad, and say, "Oh, well, can your dad come too?" So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I think.
What one thing though, Anthony Green, I'm not happy about it. He's kind of been making fun of you online. I don't know if you noticed that or not. He's kind of taking a dig at you.
Yeah, take a big dig at me. Like I don't know how to take it. I'm like, at first, I woke up in the morning and you sent me. I got this picture from him, and it was like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is like looks like uh, to me, it looks like Brooks and Dunn CD cover. I know there's not
Yes.
CDs no more, but
Yeah.
I was like, what is this, and what's going to happen? And then he cut that promo, and I don't know how to take it. Like I was like, damn, that was a pretty good promo, And it's, but then he ripped me apart, and yes, yeah, like why am I wrestling in 2023? After 25 years, if you have a kid, you do crazy things for your kid, So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I'm wrestling for my daughter. Yeah, but fuck Anthony
Usually,
Green.
yeah, I agree. Usually, it's like if you're doing crazy things, it's like, oh, I'm going to do a little, tea sipping or whatever. I'm going to, you wear, the little apron as your, but no, not you. You're going to Japan and you're wrestling.
Yeah, yeah. So, and even that with the Anthony Green promo, say the invitation is the biggest flattery, right? Like I
Yeah,
could
biggest
tell.
form of flattery. Yep.
Well, then he started taking digs, f me, f my daughter. Like I was like, motherfucker, like, all right, I feel like I could still go, So like,
Yeah.
I've been busting my ass for the last month trying to get in wrestling shape and Japanese wrestling shape. So like, and I know I don't have many more, I have many more matches or many more years in wrestling, but like, I'm going to take this as like, could be one of my last ones. So like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with a bang, or a bang yang, so like,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, I like that. DDP might get mad, but I like that. Bang, yeah, I like that.
yeah. But me and DDP, we go way back, and even Anthony Green posted a picture of saying I took a picture with him, being a mark, like I was a mark back in the, high school days, stalking DDP, and I was like, I'm not ashamed to be a mark, but like, I didn't ask for his picture; he asked for mine, so it's okay.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. Yes, yes.
yeah.
Anthony Green, you mark, get out of here. Yeah,
Boston.
yeah,
He's talking about his, I was like, whatever his Red Sox, and his Celtics. It's like too much easy stuff. Like hit him back with you know, the Patriots and Patriots and Bill Belichick. They should fire him. F Belichick. Celtics choke. Anthony Green. He's gonna choke on this wing in Japan on July 15th. So like, I know that sounded kind of bad, but what?
I,
F Anthony Green.
yeah. I know what you mean. Just F him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is going to lead to you wrestling more often, and maybe even more often in Japan, or no? This is like a one-off for you.
So I personally feel like, I love professional wrestling. I've been doing it for so long, and like, I feel like I have another run in me. one last run, I don't want to be 50 and regret it and like, hey, yeah, you gave up or not, didn't give up, but yeah, I gave up. I don't want to be that guy. I gave up. I could still do it, but I gave up, and then I don't want to. I don't like having regrets in life, So like, it's like, like, could I do it? Could I do a whole year in Japan and do everything like that? Like, I think I can, but I just think it's gonna hurt a lot more now. So like, it's like, but if I'm gonna go out, I want to go out with a bang. Uh, like, I don't want to just, you know, end my career and just disappear with not doing anything. So, but Noah's a great company. This is a company that I feel like I will put the work in to try to uh, uh, make this company, help this company out, help Jazzy out, help my brand out. Like, this is like, if it was some other company that wasn't as professional as Noah, I don't think I would get in the ring. So
With that, it is, some guys in wrestling, obviously, there's some guys that are older and they're still wrestling, maybe they're not in great shape, or you're really not even older. You just been around forever because you started so young, but you're still in shape. You could still do it. You still feel like you got that one last run. Is that going to lead to like something bigger with Noah, you think, or it's just like just one run, like that's it? Let's not go crazy here, or are you thinking crazy?
I don't know. Like, it just depends on how I can perform out there. But with my career in All Japan Pro Wrestling, like, when I first got over there, I felt like I was really getting into my prime in wrestling, and like, really, that's the first time I felt over in the business. So, but at the time, you just think about the wrestling matches. You don't think about how people. You do think about how people react to you, but you don't know how you affect people when you're doing those matches. Like, I'm going balls to the wall out there, just having these killer matches with with Kendo Kashin and Muda, Kawada, Tenru, like wrestling all these guys, and just like killing. But like, that's you don't know what you do to other or the fans. So like, me coming back, I know it's nostalgia kind of act, and really, like, I feel like I can go out there and make them fall in love with me again. If
Yep.
So it's like, I think they think, oh, a lot of people think, oh, Jimmy's been retired for 10 years or whatever amount of time. Really, I just slowed down and tried to be the best dad I could be. Started a redneck party bus company. So I was doing that, but really, I just put wrestling on the side just because I wanted to be the best dad for Jazzy. So like, but I've still, like, during that time I was doing the party bus business. So like, I wasn't taking bumps. I was healing my body from the years in WWE and WCW, All Japan, all that kind of stuff. So like, my body feels good. Um, it just does take it a little bit longer to recoup from wrestling now, but like, I'm fired up. Anthony Green fired me up, and it's Corrigan Hall, it's Tokyo. Like, my two favorite places to wrestle out there was Corrigan Hall and Budokan. And it's like, every time I step in this building and this building, shit's on, So like, I have that mindset right now. Like, I'm training, and like, hopefully I can still kill it out there, and then we'll see what happens after that, So
Does the Japanese audience always take to you? Do they love Jimmy Wang Yang?
they love the Wang out there. Just kidding. But there was no Wang before out there. I was just Jimmy Yang, part of the Young Dragons. And again, like, that's the first time I felt over in wrestling, is when I started with All Japan, and everything clicked. And like, even with my wrestling and timing and everything clicked, and everything was going so good, and then Jasmine was born, and then I wanted to be home every week to see her, because All Japan schedule was kind of crazy. Stay there 2-3 weeks at a time, come home, leave in 6 days, and I just remember the long tour one time. the long tour. There was a long tour, maybe like 2 months or something, and then I came home and Jasmine was like already a different baby because they change so fast when they're babies, right? And I was
Oh my
like,
God, yes,
and
yes.
that really affected me, and that's when I reached out to WWE to come back, and but yeah, that's what happened. But
Hey, that's true. They change so quick. Yeah.
yeah,
But it's interesting though, like you're catching it, you're getting it, getting lightning in a bottle. You're learning the craft. Funny, you don't learn that right away, right? I mean, it takes some time to do that and kind of hone your craft.
and really that's the thing. What I've been telling people lately is like Jasmine's 20. I said she's so much better than me at that age. Like my time in WCW, those last few years in WCW, so I didn't know shit. Like really,
Sure.
like putting structure to a match, psychology, character, everything. I just was very athletic and could do some cool moves, and I'm had some awesome dance partners with the Hurricane and Shane Helms, Kaz Hayashi, uh, Jamie Noble, Evan Courageous. Like, luckily, I had those guys around me to say, "Hey, yeah, Jimmy, come in here, do your cool thing here, do your cool thing here, do your cool thing here," and then. But really, I think about those 2 years or 2, 3 years at WCW. I said, man, I didn't know nothing. This stuff what I know now, and then it kind of all hit me when I was wrestling in Japan. It's like, oh, everything makes sense, and this is why I do this here, and this is why I do it here, and the importance of selling and this comeback and these crazy falsies, and that's where really own my craft. And if I didn't have that time period in All Japan, there probably would have never been a Kyo or Jimmy Wang Yang. As definitely a Jimmy Wang Yang as being that successful character in WWE. So very important,
It's
but it
funny,
takes
like
time.
those cruiserweight matches at WCW. A lot of them are like car crashes. They were great and they were entertaining. They kept everyone's attention, but they were just like no psychology car crashes, right?
Yeah, and that's what I remember. Arn Anderson and Eric Bischoff told us that, like, hey, we don't really care about the wrestling match. We want you guys out to go out there and be like a car crash. Like when you're driving down the street, you see two cars crash, like you can't take your eyes off of it. That's what we want you to do. So and then I remember stopping him and asking him, say, "Hey, I got a question. It's like, don't people die in car crashes?" Like, I was like, yeah, but it'll be good for business, Like if something happened, it's good for business. I was like, people will be watching it, talking about it. And I was like, but 18, 19-year-old kids, like, oh yeah, yeah, yes, sir, we'll do whatever you want. Like, yeah, jump off the ladders and all that craziness, But I know
It's like
people love that style, and to me, I think uh, you can either give us credit for the 2023 wrestling or hate us for the 2023 wrestling. Depends if you're Cornette or the other guys, because to me that was the beginning of the car crash style, and now you see it in AEW, Impact, and everything like that, because that started in WCW, then TNA with AJ and Samoa Joe and Loki and Chris Jerry Lynn, all those guys, and the Flying Elvises.
I was going to say, can't forget them.
Yeah,
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 sure.
yeah. Save the best for last, So like, to me, it that we started a trend, either good or bad, um, that's influenced. As I say, like I was telling you about, Jim, you don't realize who you influence when you're out there, and people see your wrestling. Oh man, I love that stuff, and they emulate your pattern. And when I watch wrestling now, I'm like, yeah, that's what we was doing 25 years ago,
Yep.
and now it kind of, a lot of people are doing that style. But I wish people, now I'm older. I'm like, man, I wish they'd just be a little bit more safe. I know we were crazy back in the day, but like we were kind of safe on those spots and just not hurting each other and hurting yourself. That's been happening a lot lately with 2023.
It does seem like I know AEW has, and I know wrestling in general, you get a bunch of injuries, but it does seem like they're like really doing the moves, and back then they were look like you were really doing the moves, but you're not really killing the guy. You know what I mean? Like they're really
Yeah.
killing the guys now. They're not. There's no safety involved. Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell when somebody's trying to protect you and when they're not trying to protect you. Like it's if they're just like that, and that's what I hate when I see it. And it's like, yeah, they don't really care about their opponents, like and they're just worrying about making themselves look good, and that's part of wrestling. But like it's that's what I don't like about it. But like it's entertaining. It's entertaining me. I know you don't like that style, but like it's for people casual fans and watching, and they see a car crash on TV, they'll watch it. But
Yeah.
me and you are kind of more
Old
older
school.
school
Yeah.
like the characters and the drama and the story and the wrestling that looks more believable than choreographed match. I know.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some guys in AEW I love, but I know I just prefer that Roman Reigns style. Like there's
Yeah.
like he's got facial expressions, he's cursing, he's mad, like
Yeah.
he's selling, everything he's doing is believable. Sure, they'll have some false finishes, and he's a great athlete, but I don't know, I just like the kind of that style more. Even like Brian Danielson, I love that he's more of like a technician. I know he does some crazy spots. And he had a freak injury in his match, but I don't know, and I know he's gotten injured a bunch with concussions, but I like the more like I don't know, more safe style, not so much just like let's just do a flip out of nowhere and the guy can't catch me, so I'm gonna break my ankle kind of stuff.
Yeah. Same. I like it all, but like if I I like
Old school
the
better.
more I like I hate to say it, more believable pro wrestling, so instead of circus act. But I don't want to knock it too much because I that's what I say. Our group kind of started that
Yeah,
craziness
it's your fault.
trend.
Yeah, what are you
So
yeah, what are you talking about? It's your fault.
But my favorite all time is Sting and the Great Buddha. The big time
Yes.
characters, over top characters was and then the wrestling wasn't too crazy. Car crash. It wasn't a car crash. So.
My whole thing though, you guys had it more of like a buffet style though. Like you'd have Hogan, but then you'd have the cruiserweights. Like it wasn't all cruiserweights. Like AEW for the most part, they're all kind of doing the very similar or the same style. I like when you separate it and you have like like the Hogans of the world, then you have Hall Nash, and you have the cruiserweights. Like it's got to be different throughout the show.
And I agree. That's like to me, that's the secret ingredient that makes wrestling work. It can't be like 2 hours just not everybody's doing the same thing. You have to have that great Vegas buffet of wrestling. Like you got the steak over here and the chicken and the fish over here, and have everything together to make a great product. But that's you don't like watching the same thing for 3 hours straight, 3 hours straight. So that I do feel like they need to add to their buffet. So.
And I'll ask a buddy of mine who's been wrestling forever. Right? Sometimes he watches AEW. Well, all the time watch AEW. But I'll say to him like, "Hey, how do you not get hurt doing that?" And he's like, some of those moves. He's like, it's not safe. There's no way not to get hurt. So I was like, oh, so they're literally just nuts. Like, they're just kind of going off the rails, if you will.
Yeah, but I'll give you a wrestler mindset. Like because you want to shock the audience. You have to have this great finish. You have to make people like, oh my god, did you see what they did last night? And that's kind of what Will and Kenny's finish. I know everybody's either for it or against it, but as a wrestler, like, yeah, how are you gonna finish this match? How this big build up? These both guys had this career in Japan. Like, how are we gonna make everybody talk about this on Monday? Hey, let's do what as a wrestler, like trying to think of a spot to make people think like that and talk about that stuff. Say, oh, what's the craziest spot I've ever seen in my life? Oh yeah, remember when Mazawa and Kawada had?
Yeah.
And you used to remember Kobashi and Mazawa just dropping each other's head. Like, did they break their neck on it? Oh no, I think we can do it. So like it's like thinking of things to do. But that shows the kind of performers that they are, and I would probably done the same thing. It's like, let's risk it all to entertain the fans, entertain the people. So yeah, like I might break my neck, but we're doing it for the fans, so it's like, that's my hat's off to him. Like well, I don't wish injury on anyone, but I know the mindset that Will and Kenny had to shock the audience, make everybody talk about the match, and they did the Driver of '91 with Japanese wrestling,
Yep.
Kawada, Misawa, Kobashi, Akiyama, Steve Williams, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. And the thing is, like, I know it's a shock to people in 2023 with Kenny and Will with that Tiger Driver, but Steve Williams and Dr. Death. You remember his finish?
The Stampede.
No, and the Japanese finish, but the back suplex on the
Oh,
head.
the back suplex driver. Yes.
Yep. And then like that was 20-30 years ago. So it's just kind of stuff that I've seen back then that people are doing now. So it's kind of.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I love that match because Ospreay's awesome and Omega's awesome, and that match was awesome. But I had a buddy of mine text me, he's like, "Oh, did he mean to drop him on his head like that? Oh my god!" I said, "Yes, actually, because I go back and watch Misawa Kawada. That's the Tiger Driver '91. That's a Misawa move." And he goes, "Oh my god!" He goes, "There's no way he can protect his neck." I said, "No, like it's risky as hell." But I mean, you could see the crowd; they were like gasping, like, "Oh!" But that's the move. That's not. There wasn't a screw up or anything. That's the move.
Yeah. And to me, to me, it looked like he landed him safe too, in a weird
Really?
way. Like me watching it, because I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen it the other way, and I was like, he protected him as much as he could. So
that match was awesome. See, like the buffet though, I like that. Then I liked Okada Danielson after because it's a completely different style of match. So good stuff.
And even
like
with Punk and Kojima, right? Like that was
love that
different,
match.
right?
Yes. Yep.
And
I like that Punk style. Slow, methodical, boo, like get the crowd into its cell.
Yeah,
I like that.
Tell the story, like and the build and everything. So that was great, and even with this, even Punk going back to some old school Kojima stuff. That was the lariat, and that was great.
Yes.
So.
And Kojima used to kind of do the Hogan stuff, joking around. So obviously Punk does the Hogan stuff, joking around. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And that's I'm gonna give you a fact about Kojima. I know a lot of people on here. It's like, oh, Jimmy Yang never won a title in his whole 25 career wrestling. And actually, me and Kojima won the Baiting Ape Wrestling Tag Team Champions in Japan. So I was like, that's my one title that I won. But I got me some Baiting Ape. Why I was the bait man. I was Ape Man. So like we was tag team and we won the tag team titles. So.
Oh damn! So that was All Japan Tag League.
No, is the Baiting Ape clothing company.
I thought this was a part of. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I thought this was part of all the tag league. Okay. Oh, all right.
Well, actually, we was in the tag league, and it was supposed to. Actually, I guess I give it away. We were supposed to win the tag team titles, all Asian tag team titles.
Yep.
And then I had a bad business disagreement with All Japan. So and then because whatever lies and whatever lies and then I got my ass beat by Muda and Arashi.
Oh, that's two guys you don't want to get beat up by.
Yeah.
And that led to an exit there.
Yeah, basically, but but I think there's a lot of things that were going on. Jasmine was born. I was getting homesick because I was getting baby sick. That really, and then with All Japan, with some promises about pay and a video game, and it was like a bad time, and I kind of needed to reach out to WWE to see if I could come back. Yeah. Come back as a Kyo, so.
And it's funny at that point, Noah kind of like was overtaking All Japan. All Japan was, the big times. Baba passes away a few years earlier. His wife takes over. Misawa basically takes the not excursion, but basically takes the voyage, whatever he was calling it, like the ship, if you will, the Noah. He's Noah's Ark. He's taking it and creating Pro Wrestling Noah, which became way bigger. Even though Muda was in All Japan and Kojima, Noah became the place to be.
No, that's you're almost there. The timeline kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
a little bit off.
a
Yeah,
a little bit off. So like what happened is, Misawa and then wanted to leave Noah because Mrs. Baba was in charge.
right. Because Baba died, right?
And then Noah took off, and they're like taking off big. Then Mrs. Baba, she was a genius, so like she had the idea of
To bring
bringing
Muda in.
Muda, Kojima, Kendo Gashin, the Young Dragons, and we went in there like when I first debuted for All Japan, place was crazy. Like the Corgan Hall sold out, Budokan sold out. Like business was crazy, and business was so good. Like when you good business, you run a lot of shows, right? So like I remember we had a 3-week tour, 21 days. We had 19 shows, and
Wow.
every house was packed. It was basically what the Muda, Kojima, Kashin, Kendo Kashin, and the Young Dragons. We did the invasion angle to All Japan, and business was good. We was running the Budokan every month. It's a 15,000 seat arena, and with that, and when Mrs. Baba's kind of brought All Japan, when Noah left, All Japan went down. When Mrs. Baba brought Muda and Kojima and us, business came back up, and then it was like kind of neck and neck for a long time, and then whatever happened after that. So,
Right. And New Japan was doing okay at that point too, but they started to slow down from their peak in the 90s, really.
yeah, and they're back, and New Japan's been around 75 years. Oh, I'm trying to think about 50 years or something. It's a long time. But they always
1972. Yeah.
1972. So
Yeah, so 50 years. Yeah.
But like they've been doing some really good business for the last probably 7 or 8 years, maybe 10 years with the Prince Devitt or Finn Balor and AJ and the Bullet Club and even doing the smart business people, and doing the business agreement with AEW and doing Forbidden Door, and then using New Japan using Chris Jericho and the Tokyo Domes, and like you see some of those crowds, I'm like, oh my, Tokyo Dome's 60,000 people, so it's like they're a great company too, so.
For sure. And I think, as a buddy of mine's a huge Japanese fan, so am I. I'm just a huge mark for it. I said, Okada, I got to put him up there with Muda, Misawa, Kobashi, like the legends of Japan. That's how good I think Okada is. I don't know if you've seen a lot of him. I think he's unbelievable. Since 2012, when he got his push, that's when they started making money. Obviously, Jericho and AJ, all these guys help, but obviously the Japanese fans, the Japanese contingent, and they had Nakamura, and obviously Tanahashi's a god, but that's an Omega too, but it's like his ascension kind of was neck and neck with them making a ton of money. That's why he's the Rainmaker.
Wow. That's strong words from coming from you, John.
Praise. High praise.
That's the thing. Somebody in 2020 or whatever, 2023 would tell me like, well, history of Japanese wrestling, Muda, Kawada, and Tenryu, and all these guys, and you put them up there at that level, like maybe I should pay more attention to Okada.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Definitely. Check out his matches with Ospreay are awesome. Omega is awesome. Basically, it's like anybody's like best match. It's like probably against him. Just he can work anybody and anybody's style. He's awesome. I'm just a huge fan of his. Yeah. But got to mention this as we wind it down here.
So, but I want to ask you first.
Yeah.
Because with the Jazzy being the first female gaijin for Noah, I say like we've been talking about the Japanese wrestlers, but I want to know like who's your favorite gaijin wrestler? Just curious.
Gotta go since all time. I gotta go Stan Hansen just because I don't know his style. I love that. Like I know he would say he couldn't really see, so that's why he kind of stepped everybody. But that's the style you want. Like it look real. Like no one would ever say like Stan Hansen that didn't look real. You know what I mean? Like never in a million years. I just loved his matches. I loved his style. He actually like scared the fans over there when he would come out. I just think the best gaijin, my favorite gaijin would be Hansen, Hogan, obviously definitely up there, and like newer guy AJ Styles. I loved his time in Japan. What about you?
No, that's how I just even Hogan. Because I've been seeing clips, or I always see clips every once in a while when he was in Japan, on Twitter or something, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Hogan could wrestle," So, but it's so awesome to see him in that environment. wrestling those guys, Antonio Inoki and stuff, and he's doing the drop toe holds and the arm bars and stuff. I'm like, oh, Hogan's awesome. Like people, just different environment, different wrestling. But I have let's see, who's my favorite gaijin? So I love my favorite like the watch is like 80s, 90s All Japan, like with the Funks and the Mil Mascaras and Carlos or whatever his name.
Karas,
Yeah, Alberto's dad.
Yep.
Even the Sheik and the Abdullah the Butcher, like those 80s, 90s wrestling, you get those tapes back in the day, like the crowd's just going insane. But I like I like so many guys, like even Steve Williams and
Gordy.
Bam Bam Gordy, Johnny Smith, like George Hines, when Bart Gunn was out there, Jungle Jim Steele.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So and Tai Okea, man, Tai Okea was badass. Like, but it's all Japan. But like when I was in high school age, I love Japanese wrestling, so I used to go to the Japanese video store and just try to find Muda tapes because I love the Great Muda. So I'd go there and rent the New Japan tapes. But like I just like I like seeing a lot of gaijins in Japan wrestling. Even like I remember seeing Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton out there and seeing the different environment, seeing the WCW Buff Bagwell in New Japan. It just drew a lot of interest to me, and even the Steiners and the New Japan.
Yeah, I was going to say Steiner Brothers and Vader. Whew, awesome in Japan. Yep.
Yeah, and Too Cold Scorpio and even the Pegasus Kid. I'll say that Pegasus Kid, and Black Tiger, like and Dean Malenko, the Malenko brothers, Joe and Dean.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of I've watched way too much wrestling in my life, so I just like everybody, So.
Yes.
But.
And hell, I mean, all those gaijins were awesome, but they had some awesome Japanese talent to work with. Some of like the best of the best ever. Even guys like Takada. I mean, he was awesome. And obviously, you mentioned Muda, Kojima, Tenryu was awesome. I mean, Fujinami. There's so many good Japanese wrestlers through that era too. It's unbelievable the talent level.
Choshu was cool.
Yep, Choshu. Yep.
Yeah. It was
Hashimoto,
the three musketeers, like that's I see it testing your knowledge, So that was
Hashimoto, Muda, and Chono. Yes, they were awesome. Yeah. And then even Otani was awesome. So many good ones. Yeah. But hey, July 15th, you'll be back in Noah. I mean, so you got to put your name up there. I know you're technically Korean, but you got to put your name up there.
Yeah. I'm up there too. Oh, I don't know. I don't put myself over. So it's like, so I'm,
They bring you in as one of their own.
Yeah. And maybe that's why they like me so much because I kind of look like them. So it's like, that's the same. But
that could be it. Yeah, that could be just that simple. Yeah. Right.
Or I was just a badass wrestler, probably. That's probably why. Like I could.
Yes. Well, they love your style and your fighting spirit.
Yeah. So I can't wait to go back. Like last time I was back was 5 years ago, and they did a Young Dragon reunion. But that's when Jazzy got to do the spot, and that was like the ultimate dad moment, like girl dad moment. Yep. Like I know you have kids, but like you see sports games, like Jazz, like she did sports all her life, so I'm used to being on the sideline watching her, but then seeing her beat Shannon Moore's ass in Tokyo, and how well she did it, like that was like the biggest rush of my life. And the thing is, that's the day that Jazz, once we got back to the hotel, after she was mobbed with autographs and all that kind of some magazines, and then she got to the room and was like, "Dad, I want to be a professional wrestler." Like that was awesome.
That's awesome.
That was the moment. And then going back. And now she's 20, and now she's going to be the first ever female gaijin women's wrestler on a Noah's card. It's just awesome moment. And then I get to come back and I do my best, try my best to do what I used to do, so.
Awesome. Where could everybody find you and see what you guys are up to? Social media. We got Jazzy. What about you?
Yeah. So really, I want to help everybody out here. Like, it's easy to watch this match. You just download the app, Wrestle Universe, on anywhere you get your apps, like, and you can see this match for free. They got to sign up, like it's a 7-day free trial. You don't even have to pay, but even if you do pay, it's 800 yen. That equals $6.50 in the United States.
Not bad at all.
So, but I know when this airs, you got a 7-day trial. You see it for free. It's easier to watch wrestle or sign up for Wrestling Universe and to pay than OnlyFans, John.
Oh wow!
So it's easier and cheaper than OnlyFans.
There
So
you
like
go.
that's the thing. So like Wrestle Universe, look for it and where you get your apps. You can watch this match for free. Just sign up for a free trial. If you want to cancel after that, cool. Nah, whatever. But yeah. And then John, my retirement plan after this, I want to try to start my OnlyFans, but like WWE won't let that Jimmy Wang Yang trademark go. So that's
they'll forget about it, let it slip, and then you can pick it up.
Yeah. So this do my last run with wrestling and try to get that trademark Jimmy Wang Yang. So
yep. Yes.
So but yeah.
All right, Jimmy, thank you so much for all the time. Really appreciate it. Jimmy and Jazzy Yang in Japan again. I love it. Thank you for all the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and F. Anthony Green, and it's your boy, and it's going to be time again. It's going to be Yang time.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not